board. We go ahead and start our video. Awesome. If the video doesn't work again, guys, I apologize for that. Let me see if I can get it to work. There we go. I'm going to keep moving so we make this work. There. Okay. I want to thank all you guys for joining me today on From Behind Your Stove to CEO. But first of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join me today. This is a topic that several chefs have asked me about over and over and over again, and we finally put it together and did a webinar for you guys. Let me make sure that we are recording, and we are. Let me see who is on the call. Oh, awesome. I see several of you guys on the call. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's go ahead and get started. What I want you to do is, you guys will see at the very beginning, there is a poll that I would like for you guys to take. And it's going to ask you a few questions. And some of those questions, what type of culinary business do you own? We want to know that, because by knowing that, that's going to really help us to better understand how to really pair these webinars for you guys and to create new content. So let's go ahead and get started. Actually, let me end this poll real quick, and I'll pop it back up here in just a little bit. Okay. Gosh darn it. Okay, like I said, new platform, and we're learning it. Gotta love Zoom. Okay, to begin with, just some fun facts about me and why in the heck am I even qualified to teach you guys this today? Well, I run a six-figure award-winning personal chef business. I know that you guys can see some of my awards and stuff behind me. You could probably see more of them if I wasn't fighting the sun, but I have a window in my office and the sun is like blaring down on me this time of day, and no matter where I move, I just cannot seem to get away from it. I've owned a business for more than 10 years now. The second quote there, the second line item there says I've been coaching and mentoring chefs for over 10 years. That's probably closer to about 15 years at this point. One of my loves and my passions, I realize, is I really love helping chefs build a business and a life they love. It's really the second one that I'm really after when it comes to culinary business owners and chefs, because I realize that we can honestly work ourselves to death, especially being behind our stove. And chefs, for the most part, are known for having no quality of life. And I want to give that back to chefs while they make a whole lot of money, if that's what you want, or at least having the business that you love. Last year, I wrote a #1 best-selling Amazon bestseller. It's right there on your screen, so you're a chef. Now what? I had such a blast writing that book. I work with caterers, personal and private chef, different artisan food providers across the country, cooking class instructors, some restaurant owners, to really grow their culinary business. But here's the other cool thing about me. I really love potatoes in every shape, form, and fashion. Who's this webinar for? Like I said, when we first started out, this is for culinary business owners who are really tired of being stuck behind their stove, but they're too busy working in their business to work on their business and to really grow. And what I realized that the questions that I get over and over again when I work with different chefs across the country is, how do I become what's called a clipboard chef? Or how do I get out from behind the stove and truly run my company? I just can't figure out how to do it. So we created this webinar today to really walk you through those steps. We're going to give you some processes. We're also going to give you different examples of people that have done it. So it's really for those people that are really ready to explode their business and they want to move from behind their stove into an area of their business where they truly become the CEO and they work on their business and not in it. There are certain foundations that you do need in order to grow, and that's really what we're talking about here. If you really want to move from cooking behind your stove to the other side of your business where you're truly running it, you have to have a very strong brand. For those of you guys that I've talked to on the phone before, you guys know that I preach this all the time. Your number one foundation in your business should be a very strong brand. There's some elements of a strong brand, and without going into too much detail, you have to really know who your competitors are. There's a competitive analysis that you can actually do, but there's something very simple. Have you looked at the other competitors in your area? Have you compared yourself to them? Do they have commercial kitchens? Does their brand look better? Does their website look better? You have to know what you want to grow into, who you are now, and what you want to grow into. Because as you grow, this is going to become super important. The next thing about your brand that you absolutely must know is your mission statement. What's your mission in business? It's more than a statement. What do you want the world to know about you? When you first start out in business, you think, you know what, I'm just going to go cook and I'm going to make money and I'm going to make people happy and my bills are going to get paid. Well, there's my Texas accent. But after a while, you come to find out that you need a purpose for being in business. That purpose or that brand differentiator or that power statement is why people will buy what you do when they will not buy from your competitors. I hope that that makes sense. The next thing is consistency. Consistency in your brand. That means that you look the same, you offer the same services, you use the same logo, you wear the same type of chef coat, you wear the color of your particular brand. You have the same picture on all social media. You have to have a consistency because a confused mind says no whenever you are, whenever you're putting yourself out there. Flexibility. That's a really big component of brand as well, because you have to be able to have flexibility in the offerings that you provide as well as you as a person. So flexibility in the offerings that you provide. What do I mean by that? You have to be willing to put something out there and then you have to be able to let it go in case it doesn't work. We've tried different things over the years that just failed miserably, but you have to be able to let it go once you start it. And then you as an entrepreneur have to be very flexible in the way that you run your business. You have to be able to have pivot points. We talked a little bit about an amazing logo. Your logo says it all. It should speak for your company when you're not there, able to speak for your company. Brand strategy, that is huge. What do I mean by brand strategy? You have to make sure that you have a strategy to grow your business and therefore to put your brand out into the world. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, isn't that what you're supposed to be giving me on this particular webinar is a strategy? And that's actually something that we're going to go over as we move along. But first of all, building a brand is one of the first building blocks that you need in order to grow your business. You have to have a very strong brand presence. It's more than a website. If you don't know what that is, no worries. We're actually going to do a webinar on branding. But it is the one single thing, your power statement, your line in the sand that tells people who you are, what you do, and the reason that they buy from you. I've lost my arrow. There we go. Foundation 2, a good website. The second thing is, in order to grow, is a great website. Whenever you first start a business, you start a website and you think, here's my website, isn't it great? Well, it gets you a few clients and that's awesome. But the thing is after a while, you'll notice that your client load starts to drop off or you'll actually hit a wall. So whenever you hit that wall, you need to go back and look at your brand, and part of your brand is your logo and your website. If you're not receiving at least, and I've said this time and time again, 75% of the people that come to you, if they are not coming to you through your website because Google decides who you are, then you need to get a better website. So one of the things that you need in order to grow is not only your brand, but part of your brand is a great website. I'm not going to go into too much detail about everything that has to be on that website. That's for another call. We can actually do a webinar on that as well, where we can kind of look at an analysis of your website. But I just want you to understand that in order for you to really market your business when you move from behind your stove, your website must be a rockin' representation of you. And I'm going to tell you now, it must be professionally done. Unless you are a professional web designer that turned into a culinary business owner, that's probably about the only way it's going to work. Consistent income. Here's one of the big things that I run into with chefs. You have to have consistent client flow. What does that mean? You have to have consistency in your clients that pay you money. Yes, our business has a tendency to go up and down and up and down, but here's the deal. If you are busting at the seams and you're starting to turn away people and you need to hire another person, or maybe your first person, your first employee, that's when it's time to grow. It is not when you only have 1 or 2 clients and you think to yourself, gosh, if I just had a commercial kitchen, or if I just could hire another chef, I could go market more. You don't have a foundation that way. You have to have full client load. You have to be busting at the seams in order to then look at moving from behind your stove into getting out and working on your company and being the CEO of your company. Because until then, you haven't built that foundation and those strong policies and those strong procedures that will allow you to grow and become that CEO position. So let me reiterate. You need a full client load. How many is full client load? Well, one of the chefs, I was talking to Chef Wes the other day, and I said, Wes, you know that you're ready to move into a bigger commercial kitchen or really move into running your business if you have a full client load. And I said, how many days a week are you cooking right now? And he said, about 6 days a week, 1 to 2 clients a day. I'd say, well, there's really not a lot of more time left for you. It would be time to grow at that point. But you cannot build it and expect them to come. Your clients have to already be there. You have to be busting at the seams, and then you take the leap and you hire people to help you. We're going to go into that a little bit as well. Here's a big one. And I know for some of you guys, it's a little bit woo-woo and, you know, all those other things that your heart definitely has to be in the right place. If you don't love going to the grocery store and you don't love your business anymore, if you don't have a passion for it, then please don't grow your business. Don't teach other people the policies and procedures in your business. Don't go get more clients if you don't love what you do. If you have found your true passion and you're building a business around something you love to do, then yes, do more of that. Hire people that are going to help you, whether it's contract or employees. You have to love the entrepreneurial process, and you want to see where this will take you. For those of you guys that really want to move out from behind your stove, you have to have that fire that's in you, that you want to do this no matter what. Because growing and taking on this new challenge, it's not more challenges, it's just new challenges. Unless you have the heart and the passion for it and you generally want to help people, that's when you know that it's time to do this. If you're kind of a little bit on the fence, not the right time. You have to have the right mindset in order to do this. How do you know if you're ready to grow? That's one of the big questions that I get asked. How do I know that I'm ready for this? Well, the first slide that I just showed you, that's one of the first reasons that you know that you're ready to go. You're busting at the seams. You're so excited. You love this business. You want to help other people. But wait, let me look this other side real quick. How do you know you're ready to grow? I just want to make sure that I'm following the same path. You know your strengths and your weaknesses. So that's so important when it comes to business, because what's going to happen is when you do get ready to move out from behind your stove and truly grow your business and become the CEO of your company, you're going to need to know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Several of you guys know right now, you can think, oh my gosh, I hate doing my own bookkeeping. I hate invoicing my clients. I hate going to the grocery store. I hate social media. Whatever that is for you, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, you're going to have to find somebody that is that can do those things that you don't like to do, because they're still going to need to be done. When you're not working in when you are working in your company, you do things whether you like it or not, because a lot of times it's just you. But whenever you get ready to have others help you run your company, or you really get into the mindset that you want to move over, knowing your strengths and weaknesses is going to be huge, because you will have to hire for your weaknesses. Kind of like I said, you know what things you love and what things you're good at and what things you hate and aren't so good at. You're going to have to know these. And the best thing to do, honestly, is sit down and make a daily list of everything that you do for your business, from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed. And you need to highlight the things that you don't like, highlight in a different color the things that make you money. The things that make you money is going to be your list to do as CPO, I'm sorry, as CEO of your company. But the things that you don't like, those are the people that you're going to hire for, specifically for those tasks. You've streamlined your processes. Boy, this is a hard one. And this one certainly kicked me in the butt, because I thought, it's in my head, I can just get it out. And when I started hiring employees, I thought, why don't you know how to do this? Well, it's because they didn't come from this business. They didn't grow it. They didn't love it. They step in and expect you to teach it to them. Well, the thing that happens is even as simple things as making a deposit and going to the bank, the way you make your grocery list, the way that you set up things for a catering, the way that you set up your kitchen for a cooking class, or even the way that you happen to plan a menu. All of that is intellectual property, and something that eventually you will need to teach someone else in order to grow your business. So what happens is, once your processes are streamlined and they're repeatable, whether you can repeat them or you can teach someone else to repeat them, that becomes a very foundational piece to your business. You know that you can replicate your business, your processes and your procedures, regardless of what happens and who you hire, who comes in and out. And you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I have to write all that out. Well, what I'm telling you is to start this way. Start down by breaking down your day. Remember that list that I told you to make earlier, where you add the things that you like, you highlight the things you like, and then you highlight the things you don't like? Well, you can use that list, because as you go through your day, you can check and look at that and say, I didn't even realize I had a process for going to the bank. I didn't realize I had a process for setting up my client's kitchen whenever I walk through the door. I didn't realize I had a process at the grocery store that I, make my grocery list according to the aisles of the grocery store, or however you do that. But those are all processes that you will eventually need to teach someone else. Now, I don't want it to scare you. If you're ready to grow and you don't have those processes streamlined, it's okay. Because as you hire your first or even your second employee, you can get that done over time. You can still break that up. But the thing is, at some point, they will need to be written down. But first and foremost, they have to be solid. They have to be workable, and they have to be repeatable. If you're still trying to figure out if you have the right processes in your business, it is not time to grow. Like I said, you can teach others this process. You know that you have done a great job in your business if you have a strategy that is repeatable, that once you teach it, you get the same consistent outcome every single time. Like I said, bullet point 2, you need to consistently produce the same product over and over again, and you need to be able to teach it. Let's talk about Chef Monica. I don't even know if Monica is on the call. Monica wanted to move into a commercial kitchen since her business was just busting at the seams, but she knows that she needed to train new employees. Monica has great processes, and many of you guys on the call actually know Monica. She has streamlined her processes for not only shopping, but planning client menus, setting up a kitchen, her catered events, everything that she does in her current business. She took all that and she videoed it to help new chefs. Monica Thomas is actually, not only does she own a traditional personal chef business where she goes into clients' home, but Monica took all of that knowledge that she had and she created 2 processes and 2 videos called New Chef Essentials and A Day in the Life of a Chef for brand new chefs wanting to start their business. So not only did she put that in video form, now she actually has 2 companies, Taylor Taste Personal Chef Services and Taylor Taste Coaching, that allows her to take her streamlined processes now, and she actually teaches others how to do that who want to start their own business. So Monica did it in a video form, but she really had to think through her day on exactly what it is that she does so that it could be repeatable. This is one of my big mistakes that I made, because I just kind of taught people that was in my head, and as I hired people, I had to repeat it and to repeat it and to repeat it. I was in business probably about 12 years before I thought, well, duh, we probably need to get this written down. So then what I did is I kind of did the opposite. And I grabbed each of my employees and I said, I want you to make a list of your job duties that you do every day. And then we're gonna break that down, and I want you to give me 3 checklists of procedures each week based upon those job responsibilities. So once they broke their job down, then they had to give me 3 procedures a week based upon their job until they were done. So that's the way that I did it. Here's a big one. When I said before that it's not the other way around, that if you build it, they will come, they have to already be there. And then you can build your business. You have to be really comfortable at finding new clients. I call it a money faucet. If you're low on clients, you have to know exactly currently where to find more clients. Now, it's not an art form, but as you grow in business, and especially some of you guys on the call that have been there for a while in business, you can probably think to yourself, you know what? If I go to this networking group, I usually get clients out of it. If I go to this charity event, have a tasting station and give away a live auction door prize, live auction item, because remember, we don't do silent auctions. You need to be on stage telling people who you are. I get clients out of it. If I do Google AdWords, I get clients out of it. You have to have a really good understanding before you grow of where your clients come from. Because then what happens, as soon as you step out from behind your stove into that CEO position, you're going to do more of those marketing techniques, proven marketing techniques of where your clients come from in order to grow. Let me give you an example. Here's an example of SAVOR. I have a full-time marketing person, which a lot of you know. It took me being in business for almost 14 years to have a full-time marketing person. She's done a lot of work for us to help us to know where to find our ideal, where we're going to find our ideal clients. We actually know which magazines to advertise in for the highest ROI. Now, a lot of times in our industry, magazines are not where you want to market, but this particular magazine at a particular time of year not only lets us blog on a regular basis, but I've won several awards through them, from everything from Women Worth Watching to Faces of Personal Chef or Faces of Meal Delivery. And so every time that we also barter with them too, because when they have parties, then we will do their food sometimes. And every time I put an ad in this particular magazine, I'm usually guaranteed at least 3 clients as a result of it, and the ad more than pays for itself. Like I mentioned before, different charity events will result in clients, and we also know what keywords to use to attract my clients on the website. So as far as that, maybe we use, how do I describe that? Oh, so for example, we take a very much an SEO approach to our website, but whenever Blue Apron and HelloFresh was just blowing up, we decided to use some of their words because they are in food and they are prepared. They are meal delivery, not necessarily prepared, but we loved the words prepared meal delivery. We started using those words and we just got a huge influx of clients. I know what zip codes that my clients live in and what kind of cars they drive, where their kids go to school, where they play sports. So another thing is I realize that a lot of my clients have a membership at the Fort Worth Club here where I live, and they're there for wine dinners and tastings and meetings and lunches and events and all kinds of other things. So while it was a little expensive for me, all my ideal clients were there. I joined, and within about 90 days, I have 3 new clients as a result of it. So you have to know where to find your clients. Your brand. You have to know your brand like the back of your hand. I know that we mentioned brand to begin with at the very beginning, but you have to know who you are and who your target is. And sometimes this can actually take years to really understand. You know what sets you apart from your competitors. You found your brand voice, and you feel you're very consistent with your marketing. So let me tell you this again. You live your brand every single day. If you want to become the latest and greatest raw food chef, then please don't show up on social media eating steak. It's not going to work. You have to live your brand. You have to know what sets you apart and makes you different. If you're a chef and you don't want to wear a chef coat, but you want to wear a blue jean apron instead, and you specialize in high-end comfort food, then that is who you are, that is what you do, and it is what people will buy from you. At SAVOR, we do culinary medicine. We believe that food can heal people. It's on our website. That's what people come to us for, and that is our line in the sand. We know our brand so well that whenever clients come to our website, you are either completely in love with us or we are not your people at all, and you quickly get off. It's a great way to weed out clients. I can't say enough about your brand. What sets you apart? Here's the other thing that chefs tell me when I say, what's your power statement? What's your line in the sand? And they say, well, I'm really customer service oriented and my food is really good and I bring people back to the table again, or I do really high-end catering and I love to use whole foods in what I make, and I really love to teach people how to cook. No, you don't. That is not what people are going to buy from you. What people are going to buy from you is a hardcore approach to why they should buy from you, what you do, and the reason why you do it, and for nothing else. Because they have to be so motivated to get up out of their recliner and choose you to serve them in whatever way that is, through cooking classes, personal chef services, through toffee, through cookies, through a bottle of the best sauce on the shelf. It doesn't matter. You have found your brand voice. You are solid in your brand. That does not mean that you won't rebrand or refresh your brand, but you live your brand and you know it well. If you're still kind of wishy-washy trying to figure out what you want to do in business, it is not time to grow. Let me give you a little example. This is Chef Elena. I've been working with Elena now for several years. She would probably kill me for that picture, but that is actually a picture of her and her brother. So she started out in business. They are both Italian. they started out in business and they were going to do these great Italian dinners together. And then they were also going to do personal chef services. Well, Elena kept coming to me saying, I really don't like this personal chef thing. And where before she used to be, for lack of a better word, and I apologize, Elena, I'm going to get this wrong, but kind of a food therapist. So she taught people about food and how to prepare food more as a life skill for somebody that possibly has a special need or a disability. And she truly, truly loved that. But what she felt like and what everybody kept telling her to do was personal chef. Well, what happened with Elena is after a while, she was really frustrated because she had both on her website, and her brand and the copy on her website really spoke to preparing food for people, either through these great Italian dinners or through personal chef services, and there wasn't a whole lot about cooking classes. Slowly, these cooking and educational classes, she started to do more and more of them, but still not enough to where it was really making her the money that she really wanted. And it wasn't until she took that leap of faith, believed in herself, that she just pretty much got rid of personal chef, changed the copy on her website, refreshed her brand, and now Elena has really stuck her stake in the sand. And she is doing these amazing classes. Not only is she teaching children how to cook as a life skill, that is what her brand is about, is teaching people to cook in a fun, easy way as a life skill. She is all about life lessons learned in the kitchen. Don't steal that from her. She's trademarking it, just so you know. But and once she really decided to move in that space, people came out of the woodwork. So now what's happening is she's starting to hire people to help her teach these classes so that she can continue to reach more people. But it wasn't until she lived authentically according to what she knew she wanted to do in her brand and really solidified her brand that she had people beating down her door. Here's the big one. Well, they all seem to be pretty big, don't they? But some of you guys are scared to death to do this. And you know what? You should be, but that's good. You should be. Why is that? Is because it is only in those places that you are very uncomfortable that you will do anything about it. You have to be so sick of bumping your head against a ceiling that is not there, being so frustrated of why you can't figure this out, that it will be time for you to grow. But you will not grow. You will not truly move yourself from behind that stove to running your company until you overcome that fear. And this is something I tell the chefs that I work with all the time. You have to feel like you want to throw up, but you know you have to do this. Your stomach has to turn. You have to be nauseated. But as soon as the pain outweighs that nauseated feeling, that's when you will decide to do this. And it's also that little voice that just nags you and nags you and nags you. That every time you try to do yoga, which I'm still working on, it's that little voice that just keeps talking to you and talking to you and talking to you. You know it's time at that point. So here's the big one that I work with a lot of chefs. You're making a profit. You have a full client load and you're busting at the seams. We talked about that earlier. You look at your P&L statements consistently. I hope you guys know what a P&L statement is. It's your profit and loss statement. How much is consistency? Whatever is right for you. I look at mine every week sometimes, but for sure once a month. You know where your money is going and how it is coming in. What do I mean by that? How much is your overhead? What are you spending every single month on containers, on chef coats, on gas? How much is your food cost? I don't care if you charge a chef fee plus groceries for everything you do. You still have food costs. You have food costs for catering. Are you looking at where your numbers are? And better yet, do you have numbers for each of the services you provide? If you happen to, like I said, make If you happen to make toffee and you're selling it to the public, do you know how much that toffee takes you to make? By the time you have your commercial kitchen, if you have one, by the time you buy the ingredients, by the time you buy the packaging, do you have a strong hold on your numbers? Hope that makes sense. You have to know specifically the services you provide and how much each of those services brings you in, because you have to know if you're going to keep them or make them bigger. You're willing to invest. Did you guys know that it takes money to grow? I don't know if you've ever heard that. Sometimes it's really painful, but when you decide to do this, it will take money to grow. It will take sometimes what feels like to some of you guys a lot of money to grow. It is a little bit painful. I'm going to be straight up and honest with you. It will take about 90 days for you to break even from growing and to really see the benefits of that. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I thought I would just get the money instantly. What do you mean it takes money to grow? Well, when you decide to grow, you have to then hire employees slowly, one at a time, or unless you're like Wendy Gauthier, who might be on this phone call, she tripled her business and her employees within a matter of only a couple of months. So don't recommend it, but it just had to happen. That's what Wendy did. But when you decide to grow, not only do you have to have the employees to take the place of the jobs that you were doing, because remember, you're only going to keep the jobs now or the task in your company that only makes you money from that list that you put together. And by the way, on your daily task list, when you write that out from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you should have only about 25% of things highlighted that only you can do to grow your company. Usually about 75% of things on your list, you can hire someone else to do it. Because remember, if you charge $100 an hour and you're doing something that you can pay somebody $10 an hour to do, you just lost $90 an hour. So when you decide to grow, you're possibly going to have a new website. You're going to have a new logo. You're going to have to do a brand refresh or maybe a completely new brand. You're going to hire employees. You're going to have printing costs. You're going to have a little bit of time away from your business in order to grow it initially. All of that takes money. Where are you going to get it from? Maybe some of you guys have it in savings. Maybe, and hopefully, at this point when you grow, you're making more than enough money to pay your bills. So not only are you paying your bills, but you're able to save some as well. So, which would tell you that you're able to grow. So you're making money, you're putting money away. That's what you can use to help you grow. Do I have a dollar amount what that is? No, it just depends on how big you want to take it. All I can do is help you with and let you know that it does take money to grow. Maybe you have a rich uncle. Maybe you're going to get a loan. I just need you to realize that you need to have about 90 days of working capital in order to grow, plus the money to grow as well. One of the things that I always ask people is about their big picture vision for growth. What do I mean by that? Well, so many times, like I said, we go into business and we think, I'm going to cook for a few clients. I'm going to bottle this really great sauce. I'm going to be the best caterer on the face of the planet, or I'm going to own the best restaurant. But what is your end result? Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you want to work in that restaurant forever and constantly be behind your stove? Are you doing it because you want to grow a business that you can go lay on the beach somewhere, or you can travel to Italy, or you can go wherever you want to and know that the money will keep rolling in because you built it that way? You have to know your end result so you know what you're going to grow into. Because if your end result, maybe you're a caterer right now, but your end result is to have this really big event planning company where you do events, you do and you do catering as well, and maybe you want multiple of those across the country. Well, the thing about it is you have to know that right off the bat you're going to have multiples. so that you have to start planning for that to happen, so that you have to develop the blueprints for the first one, really figure out what's going to happen there and what's right, what's not right, what's working, what's not working, so that you can grow into this bigger picture for you and you can reach your ultimate goal. You also have to know your sales number. I tell the chefs that I work with that I want to see at least a 50% growth in sales from year to year. 50%, that's a lofty goal. But do you even know what your sales numbers are now? That's all the money that you bring into your business before absolutely anything is taken out. So you have to know in order to measure that. If you decide to move into this CEO role, part of your job will be to know, are you meeting your numbers? Are you reaching your goals? The thing about your big picture vision is you're going to be pulled in several different directions, because as entrepreneurs, we all chase squirrels and shiny pennies. Everybody has a really great idea that we think that we should execute. But unless you know what your end result is in business, you're going to chase them, and it will destroy everything that you've built up to this point. So let's talk about some steps to transition from behind your stove to CEO. You're willing to invest the money, and you want to put in the work into whatever it is to take you to that big picture vision. So number one, you're willing to invest the money, because remember, it takes money to grow. Number two, you don't mind doing the work, because I will tell you right off the bat, it is hard work to grow. When you decide to grow, it's usually because you hit a wall and you can't, and either you have too many clients coming in, or you have a steady stream of clients coming in but cannot figure out how to get more of them by doing the same thing you've always done. So again, you're willing to invest the money, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to help you achieve that big picture vision. You create processes and procedure manuals, videos, bullet points, something so that you can replicate that. You know beyond a shadow of a doubt that your systems are efficient in the very beginning in order to really put those processes in place, because you have to have efficient processes to begin with that are easy to replicate, and then you have to write those down. The next thing you need in order to grow is an amazing team who understands your company mission and vision. But first, you have to understand the mission and the vision of your company, because you will only want to hire employees that also get that mission and vision as well. And once they do that, then you can show them all the processes, and everything will be streamlined. Act the part. That's one of the other things. What do I mean by that? Well, when you step into being the CEO of your company, after you have all this other stuff set up, you decided to grow, you have the right mindset, you start to hire the team, you start to market more, you've got the money in order to grow, your processes and procedures are down, you have to act the part as the CEO. Not only does it matter how you dress and how you show up in public, because you are your brand ambassador, then what happens is you have to start getting yourself in the community. You have to start marketing yourself. You have to show up as the executive chef and CEO in your company. You have to be ready for all eyes on you. You have to be ready to dress the part. You cannot just run into your gourmet grocery store on a Sunday afternoon with, no makeup and flip-flops, thinking that no one is going to see you. You will need to live your brand, and you will need to leave your brand every time you step out of your house. You have to move into almost, now don't take this wrong, but almost a celebrity chef type of appearance in your community. That's a really big step. That can happen later, but you have to show up in your community as the CEO of your company. You have to start using the word team. My team is in the kitchen cooking. My team and I will be there. Make sense? Pros and cons. This was a really hard one because I started listing everything and I thought, oh my gosh, they're never going to want to do this. I want to tell you right now, the best thing that I ever did in business is to get out from behind my stove. Now, unfortunately, this last week, I let go about 75% of my staff for multiple reasons. I had to return back to behind my stove. And because I was running 2 companies and had to step back in behind my stove, I gave a Facebook Live to the I Am a Personal Chef group and gave them the wrong date because I was so distracted. I think I cooked for 15 hours that day. Do you know what? It's all part of the growing process. Let's talk about some of the pros. The number one reason why people want to grow and move out from behind their stove is because they have more freedom and flexibility. You can set your own schedule. You can go on vacation and spend time with your family. You can be gone a week, but know that all you have to do is check in. You are no longer a slave or tied to your business or making your, let me explain it this way. You are no longer tied to you being the only one that brings in money. And if you step away from your stove, the money stops. The beauty in this is it keeps flowing in because you've set up a business for success. It also allows you to create more revenue streams and earn more money. So since you have a team that's in place that's replicated you through those policies and procedures and everything that you've learned over the years, what happens now is you can see a big picture, almost a 30,000 square foot view of your business, and you can now create another business or other revenue streams in your business, solidify that, hire staff to help that, grow that area of your business, and you can just keep replicating that all over again. You also get to choose to do work that you love and you are most passionate about. Those are some of the pros. But with pros, there's also cons. It does not mean that you're going to do less in your business. You will do the same amount of work and sometimes more, honestly, but it's just going to be different. Your roles and your responsibilities will change because now you're responsible for only growing your business. That becomes your job. It is no longer to chop the onions or containerize the food or deliver to a client, only if you want to. You get that choice. But the beauty of it is also, if you have to let some of your employees go, you can easily step back over and have the ability to do that because you taught them in the first place. You do have more liability and you have people to manage. And employees are the hardest thing that you will ever do in business. As CEO, you will spend about 50% of your time managing employees. It's a fact. You will have more expenses and you'll have to pay employees. But because you've grown your company, you will also have more money coming in. Now, here's a misconception. Depending on the type of business you have, let me be clear, on the type of business you have and the way you set up your business, it does not necessarily mean that you will have more money. Even though I can't see you, I see some eyebrows. Well, here's the deal. You grow for 2 reasons. You grow because you want to service more people and the money is not important to you. Or you grow because you want to make more money, okay? Just because you grow and add clients, it also means that you will also add more expenses. What happens when you grow is you hope and you want the growth and the sales to outweigh the expenses. So it becomes an economy of scale type of situation, okay? Not all business, you will not always make more money as a result of growing. It depends upon the type of culinary services business that you have. Sorry about my outlook, guys. I should have turned that off, but I didn't. Let me try this poll again while I'm thinking. Okay, you guys have a poll on your screen while I'm talking about this a little bit more. I want to see if you guys, and I'm going to just keep it up for about the next 30 seconds or so. If you guys don't mind telling us what type of culinary business you own, that would really help us out a lot so that we can really tailor these to you guys. So I'm going to keep that on the screen just for a little bit because it's over my slide and I can't move it. But I want to go into a little bit more detail about what I said as far as having more money. I have realized in business, because I've owned seven culinary businesses in the past 15 years. I've owned a restaurant, personal chef, catering. I've done cooking classes. I currently have 6 employees that I have through both companies that I have, but mainly SAVOR Culinary Services. And what I have found over the years is I have to decide what is enough. So remember I told you about that big picture vision? Well, the thing is you have to decide when it's enough in business. Every business has a saturation point that no matter how much you market, you're not getting in more clients. That no matter what you do, business is just going to kind of remain what it is. So once you reach that saturation point in business, that's when you have to create more of the same or different offerings. Well, you kind of don't know what that saturation point is, and therefore when your business is saturated, but the money that you can make. So until you know how much is enough in your business, then you have to keep growing and growing and to meet that. But I can tell you from the School of Hard Knocks, if you will decide how much enough in business, how many employees you want, how much money you want, and what type and how many of services you're going to provide, you will be so far ahead of the game. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll because it doesn't look like anybody's going to answer. Either that or completely screwed it up, which is highly possible because this is technology. Okay, let me get out of this. This is Chef Michael Ward's. When I first Michael's going to kind of bring all this home for us and he doesn't even realize it. When I first met Chef Michael was an entrepreneur that said, and he was a chef that said basically, my business is such that as long as they'll let me apply fire to food, then I will cook for them, anything to make money. Well, Michael realized that over time that wasn't going to serve him well. So we built a business for Michael, we built his brand, and then we realized that along the way that he needed a bigger commercial kitchen. Michael kept growing out of commercial kitchens. He was trying to keep up with his catering. He wanted to grow the personal chef side of his business, but he couldn't take on more clients until he was ready to go, but he was just a one-man show. So we said, Michael, you got to hire a sous chef. He found the most amazing sous chef to replicate himself, taught her all the processes. He stepped out more to run his company, and then that brought in more business, which means then he had to hire a cook. Well, then what happened is Michael realized really what his brand should be. So he had a sous chef, he hired a cook. Michael really, really wanted to do high-end catering, but his brand did not lend himself to that. So he moved out of a commercial kitchen into a bigger one. He hired 2 employees. We rebranded him completely. He's the Austin Artisan, and he has artisans, not necessarily chefs. He has a great website. Then what happened is more clients came in. He moved, and he helped cook a little bit more with his 2 employees. Then as more business came in, he hired a 3rd employee, and then he stepped back out and he grew his business again. And then we had to find a new commercial kitchen. So you guys can kind of see the processes that he took. Michael really became a local celebrity in Austin, Texas, where he lived. But he knew he couldn't be stuck behind his stove in order to do that. So Michael did have a solid brand to begin with. He had a growth strategy. He had more business than he knew what to do with. And he also knew where the money was going to come from for him to grow. So he put all of that in place. He grew, and then he stepped back into his company to make sure everything was running well. And then we started the process all over again. I hope that makes sense. So although business does this, up and down and up and down, while it's going up and down, you have a line of growth that consistently goes up. I want to encourage you guys that even though you step out of your business from behind that stove to running your company, that you still have to step back in and cook some just to see what's going on in your company. I'm not saying all day, I'm just saying for a few hours. You still need to keep the pulse of what's going on in your company. This is a little bit more of Michael's story, which I told you guys to begin with. But my biggest takeaway that I want you to take away with Michael of the story that I told you is that he called me one day and he said, this year in business, since I have stepped out of since I have stepped away from behind my stove, taught other people to run my company and truly stepped in the CE role, his company made more in 1 month than he did in business his whole first year. That's because Michael did it right. He took the steps he planned, and he did all the steps in order to grow his business. He gets to have more flexibility in hours, and he gets to spend a lot more time with his family, especially his sweet little daughter, London, the little baby chef that's over there. So he gets to focus more on being the face of his business and growing as a local celebrity, because that's what he wanted. You don't have to be a local celebrity, but that was part of his big picture vision. One of the last things I want to tell you about is Chef Andrea. Chef Andrea did a lot of the same things Michael did, except she didn't want a commercial kitchen. Andrea started out as a personal chef doing nutrition education, and she had more business than she knew what to do with. So she hired contract chefs to help her. And as a result of hiring contract chefs to help her, she was able to finish a nutrition certification. She's a nutritional therapist now that she just completed. She would never be able to do that if she had to constantly cook for her clients. Now, she monitored the progress of her clients in her business while she was going through school. Well, her big vision was that she have a company that offers nutritional therapy services, and if they need help, then she would also provide the chefs in order to do the personal chef service. But she really wanted to move from cooking for people for their better health to teaching people how to live a healthier lifestyle, and having one of her offerings that she had be a personal chef instead of the other way around. So Andrea, now we are in the process of rebranding Andrea to where she's a nutritional therapy company. And one of the services she provides is now a personal chef. She's found other chefs to help her grow her vision, and all of them are contractors that still go into other clients' homes. That's the story I just told about Andrea. Don't want to take more of your time. So here's the deal. If you guys have any questions about this, let me see, because like I said, this is fairly new, and I am not sure where to put these questions. That is very strange. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. If you guys have questions about anything, I'm actually going to, let's see if there's the chat. Here's the chat. Oh, there we go. I pulled up the chat box. So I'm going to go on some more talking about the same topic, about how to grow your business from moving behind your stove. So, oh, Candace is telling me the Q&A box is next to the share screen button. I don't have that. I just have a chat. So anyways, you guys go ahead and hopefully that you guys can see the chat section okay. If you guys will just put, I'll answer any questions that you have right there in that chat section. Sorry guys, like I said, new platform, still trying to learn it. Some of you guys always ask me, you know, I don't have a lot of money right now to start to grow my business. Is there something that you offer? Is there something that I can do in order to grow my business, to actually start me on this road of moving me from behind my stove into CEO of my company? Because up to this point, I'm just lost and I don't even know where to start. Well, one of the things that we created several years ago is something called eChef Club, and we have reduced the price pretty significantly to make it affordable to as many people as possible, because honestly, this is why I started in business coaching chefs in the first place, is because I wanted to give them a platform to really get their questions answered. Let me tell you a little bit about eChef Club. Let me move this out of the way. It is really a great platform, and you'll see Andrea there again in the picture, for chefs just like you to grow their culinary business. It is essentially, it is $29 a month. Let me tell you the cool thing about this. For $29 a month, you can learn how to grow your culinary business. It's that simple. Let me tell you what you're going to get. So if you're tired of being stuck, but you don't necessarily have the budget, I see that we do have a question, and I'll answer that here shortly. Thank you, Candace, for sending that to me, because for some reason I cannot see it. So we have monthly office hours. What is that? Once a month, we will hold a call that is a live Q&A call. Everybody in the eChef Club that is all over the country joins this call. So what happens is it's recorded as well, so that you can listen to it later on, and it's put into our membership site. But once a month, you have the opportunity to ask any questions that you want from me. So here's the deal. You get on, we're going to get on through Zoom, and you save all your questions, and then what happens is you ask any questions you want. Not only will I answer them for you, but there's other chefs on the call that will also give insight as well. So that's a huge resource. I have questions about my business every day. I've owned 7 businesses. I've been in business for 15 years. This is your time to come ask any questions, get the help that you need, including resources, not only from me, but from other chefs in the group as well. Today, we had an expert interview call. That's number 2 on the list. We interview experts across the country that have been there, done that, and have grown their culinary business for you to learn from. Again, you log in, specific time that we will give you. You listen to them, you ask questions. If you can't be there, don't worry, it's recorded. We're going to put it all in the membership site for you. So not only can you come on that monthly office hours call and ask questions anytime you want to, but then also you'll have the expert interview call to learn from other people. So you're not just learning from me and other chefs on the monthly office hours call, you're also learning and being able to interview someone that also that made it in their culinary business. The private Facebook group, pretty awesome. That's the third thing. It's a very, very different group. This is just not a group where you go in and you talk about your dog and you have to answer questions about what kind of containers I use or where I get my first client. This is a group of hardcore business owners that you can go on and get your questions answered at any time. If you need a contract for something, ask them. I'll send you one, they'll send you one. You need to know how to do a specific diet, go on there and ask them. Somebody on there will help you with a specific diet so you can serve your clients better. You need to know how to price a certain catering event. All you have to do is go on there and you will get a group of chefs that will help you price it. The difference in this Facebook group and others is these are dedicated business owners that are just bent on growing their culinary business. The other thing that happens is you're going to get daily business tips and inspirations. I'm going to send you not only a tip, most of the time it's paragraphs, every day that will help you grow your culinary business in some capacity. Maybe it's a worksheet that you do. Maybe it's a marketing plan that we've done in the past. Maybe it's a list of things that you should know or have you thought about. Everything that we do in eChef Club for $29 a month, and you're actually going to see in the chat section, Candace actually put up the link. Whenever you go there, it's super easy to sign up. But what happens is you have a group of dedicated, driven business owners that have been in business, and they're going to help you grow your culinary business. There is no dumb questions because everybody is at a different level, but everybody is ready to go. The cool thing is you also there's a chef co-op where you can go in and put menus in there and get menus. You need help planning a weekly menu for your personal chef client, you can go in there and look at thousands of menus. You need cooking class menus, they're in there. You need policies and procedures, they're in there. If you want to rent a commercial kitchen for the first time, there's a checklist in there so that you can actually take it with you whenever you go rent your commercial kitchen. It is a conglomeration of chefs that have come together and given you what they have as far as their favorite recipes. And no more, you don't have to worry about planning menu struggles. You also get full access to the membership site. Let me tell you about the membership site. The membership site is something we put together that has every recorded call from monthly office hours to the expert interview calls. All of those calls are in there in the membership site. There's documents in there. There's the chef co-op in there. There's resources in there about great website providers that we have already vetted. There's marketing plans in there. There's all kinds of stuff in the membership site. Again, guys, $29 a month. Candace did put the link. She said right there in the chat section. Let me see. I think that we did. Oh, here's an example of the membership site for those of you guys that are interested. Candace said there's one question. Let me see who it's from. She said, this is from Keenan Jordan. How do you use escape just being one-dimensional? Example, barbecue guy. How do you escape just being one-dimensional? Oh, so I think what you're saying is that if you're a barbecue guy, and you may have to correct me if I'm wrong because I am trying to find out where my questions are, but I think what you're asking is, since you basically only do barbecue, how is it that you are supposed to do something else? Or if you're the one barbecuing, then how do you escape and still keep your barbecue business alive, I think is what you're asking. Basically, what happens is it goes back to your policies and procedures. You have to be willing to share those processes that you did. You have to be willing to teach someone else how to do them. And I know you're thinking, well, I have this super secret sauce. I have this super secret recipe. There's, people come to me because I'm the one that only knows how to do this. And I don't want to teach somebody else because what if they steal, what if they steal my recipes and my processes? Well, I'm here to tell you, they might try. They might try a lot. I've had other people that try to duplicate what I do, but there is only one you. That's where your brand comes in. That is where people will buy what you do for you because you are your brand. There's confidentiality statements. You can have them sign. There is also non-compete documents that are also in the resources folder in the membership site that we have as well. But if you're not ever willing to take that step to teach people your processes, you're not ever going to grow. You're not ever going to get to lay on your on the beach and really have that true freedom. I hope that makes sense. So you kind of have to get over the fact of being scared and really teach somebody else that process. And then if they replicate it, they can try to replicate it, but nobody's going to be as good as you. Kina also said, it looks like, is formal culinary education necessary to have a successful catering business? No. I've worked with different caterers across the country that have had formal education and have not, and I can tell you there is no correlation. Now, if you went to culinary school, I do not want you to sit there and think, well, of course you need, culinary school in order to do a great job. Okay, I am here to tell you that if culinary school was right for you and it's helped you in business, then absolutely that was the right decision for you. But I also have known several chefs and other business owners that did not go to culinary school, and they have a thriving business. From Candace, let's see, do you have to have a business degree to open a business? No, absolutely not. You do not have to have a business degree to open a business. Is it helpful? I don't know. I have a business and management degree, and I can't tell you that it really helped me at all. I kind of came from the school of hard knocks. That's also why a lot of chefs hire me as well, because I've kind of been there and done that, just about everything in culinary business, to kind of help them from their pitfalls. So if you want a business degree, if you think that's going to help you, by all means, it's not going to hurt anything. But I can tell you that I really don't know of, I'm trying to think, I don't know of anybody that has a business degree that I work with to grow their culinary businesses, or even my friends that are entrepreneurs. I don't know, I can't think of anybody that does have a culinary degree. Oh yeah, there's a question about eChef Club too. It is $29 a month, but you can cancel at any time. So there's no obligation, there's no contracts, there's no anything like that. If you decide it's not for you, you can certainly cancel at any time. Jennifer says, oh, what is the cancellation policy for eChef Club? Jennifer, I hope that answered your question. Basically, we just have to have 30 days notice, and you can cancel at any time. Let's see, there's another question. Is it okay to use a face as your logo? Okay, so here's how I'm going to answer that question. The logo that you use has to be as simple and able to be replicated as possible. So if you were to use your face, you always have to think about how well will this embroider. I know that that's very simple, but can you find somebody to do embroidery on your chef coat and it still look like your face? Or is it going to look like a blob? You don't really want to use your face as your logo. Make sense? You want your logo to be as simple as possible. If you look back here where it says the Chef Deb logo that's in the middle of the screen, that's very easy to read. It's very easy to remember. And it's also going to show up and render well wherever you go. So remember we talked about brand consistency? Well, I want to know that that I'm going to show up the same way every single time, and people aren't going to have to go, what is that on your chef coat? And you're going to have to say, well, it's my face. Yeah, you don't want to have to do that, because a confused mind will say no. Let me see. This is just an example of the eChef Club group that you will see whenever you join eChef Club. This is actually the Facebook group, and it's pretty cool because we put a lot of chefs' face on there, which we just love. So let me answer a few more questions. You don't need to have culinary experience. Your best school is the day-to-day cooking time. Does it help? Yes. There's some typos. Does it help? Some skills you could get, but you can learn on a, I'm not sure what that question is. I'm going to go on to the next one and see if I can answer that one in a minute. Do you help someone who wants to sell products in stores and write a cookbook? So yes, we've had several chefs in the past that have written cookbooks and then also helped put products in stores. Now, there's a little bit of disclaimer to that because it depends on how big you want to take it, because eventually you will need a food broker in order to help you do that, and I am not a food broker. I can help you grow your business. I can help you with that process and marketing and, you know, commercial kitchens and employees and all those other things, but I cannot help you put your products into a store. That is going to be certainly for the food broker. Does your brand or logo have to be your name? Your personal name, as in Chef Joe Smith, I would actually prefer that it not be, because that moves you into a corporate brand, that moves you into a personality brand, and it's actually harder for you to sell your business if you name your business after yourself. Because what if Steve Jobs would have named his company Steve Jobs and not Microsoft? So just kind of think about that. Something I want to say about eChef Club real quick, we've never done this before, but you actually, if you sign up today, you actually get 2 strategy sessions. So you get a free 30-minute strategy session to set you off and running so that you can grow your culinary business. And then I'm going to check back in with you in about 3 months, and we're going to do another strategy session just to make sure you're staying on track. What is a strategy session? Basically, what we're going to do during that phone call is we're going to, I'm going to find out about your business. I'm going to find out the holes in your business. I'm going to find out what your struggles are in your business, and I'm going to find out what your goals are in business. We're going to put a strategic plan in place that's very easy to implement and for you to follow, so that you will know exactly how to grow your culinary business or fix the issues that you're having in your business. And yes, believe it or not, we can do all that in 30 minutes. Does your brand or logo, okay, let's see, before you, a couple of people saying before you leave, I just want to say thank you for this. Well, you are most welcome. Let me see if there's other questions coming in. That's just a little bit about eChef Club and some of the people that I referred to earlier. A lot of you guys have a lot of apprehension, and a lot of the chefs will actually call me and just tell me they're having a really, really bad day and could I help them? And so that's one of the things that we actually do as a chef group is we all have bad days. We're very honest in this group. There's absolutely no judgments. Especially if you will read something that I posted on there not long ago in the eChef group. And it is a safe place to land for chefs, because that is just not offered anywhere without any judgment whatsoever. I want to thank all of you guys for being on the call with me today. There's one other question. Does your credit score play a role in starting a business? Your credit score is only going to come into place if you have to borrow money. It really doesn't come into place whenever you do start your culinary business, because what happens is as you start to grow in business, you're going to start to have the capital that you need, or hopefully have the capital that you need, and your credit score won't come into play, like I said, unless you need to borrow money to grow your business. But what we really try to do is we try to grow your business very smartly, using those steps that I told you about and putting some plans and processes in place to where you have work, not only are you paying your bills, but you also have working capital so that hopefully you don't have to borrow money. I can honestly tell you in 15 years that I've been in business, I have never had to borrow money from an outside source. I might have, there's a couple of times where I made an investment on a credit card, and a credit card that I already had, and then I put a plan in place to pay it off. And then what I did is essentially paid it off in the year that I had planned, or the 90 days or whatever. So I always, currently I don't carry any debt in any of my companies, because I have a strategic plan that when I grow once I have working capital, and then it gets paid off if I need a little extra help. Like I said, I do have a business credit card that I use that I get points for, but there is always a plan to pay that off. So I don't see any more questions. Thank you guys for all of your questions. I hope to be able to talk to all of you guys one-on-one in eChef Club. That is truly one of my favorite things to do. I love it when you guys call me with questions or concerns or how-tos, and all of those things. So I want to thank everybody for coming on the call today, and for those all of you guys that are going to listen to the webinar recorded. Again, eChef Club, $29 a month. You can cancel at any time. It is your very first step in growing your culinary business to help you get out of your own way finally, and to give you a very much needed resource at a very low rate to really truly help you in your culinary business. Just remember, guys, you're not alone anymore. It's such a lonely, lonely place out there in our chef world, and you have definitely landed in a soft place. So I want to say thank you guys for coming today. I want to respect your time. We ran just a few minutes late, and I hope you guys have a great evening. Bye.